Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's Wednesday. Bitcoin has had a little bit of a rally today. It's actually finished out the day in the green, which is good because we've had a couple of days where we were in the red. So that is good. We also had IREN Energy provide us with a little update that they increased by 33% in their hash rate, which is great news for those of you invested in IREN. Then we got some other news about Ethereum and another story that we'll get into. But we'll also get into the miners, see how they did today, Bitcoin obviously, and then news. So as always, not financial advice, you know the drill. I'm investing in the following companies and so on. And here are the miners. So any was up 6.47% today on the day to $1.81. It was up another 1.11% in the after hours. Argo was up 0.94% to 88 cents. And then Digital. So Digital is actually new here today. I did a video on it earlier. It should be out before this one. I did a deep dive on them. You guys can take a look at it. Have some reserves on that one, but it's out nonetheless. And it was up today 5.32% to $2.97. It's up a little bit in the after hours as well to 2% up to $3.03. Bitfarms was up nicely today, 10.06% to $3.39. Cleanspark was up 3.68% to $10.13, up a little bit in the after hours. Cores was up 3.62 to $8.02, up a little bit in the after hours again. Digihost was up 3.17% to $3.25. It is down a little bit now in the after hours. And then DMG was up 3.02% to 48 cents. Hive was up 5.08% to $1.86, up a little bit in the after hours as well. Hut was up 4.94% to $4.67, up a little bit in the after hours as well. IREN Energy was up 2.41. It is up actually 3.57 in the after hours to 13.62. Ended trading at 13.15. Luxxfolio was actually down 0.78% to 26 cents. Marathon was up 5.39% to $22.30 and up a little bit in the after hours as well. Mawson was actually down 1.39% to $4.25. And Riot was up 3.49% to $16.01. And it's up a little bit in the after hours as well. So a good day for the miners, obviously. Let's take a look at Bitcoin see what's Bitcoin doing. So Bitcoin has obviously finished the last 2 days, it looks like, in the green. Today we finished out at about where we are right now, about 41,100 or so. We have gone above our resistance here, which is good. Now the question remains, can we actually maintain that resistance and flip it over to support? So if we can keep this as support, we might be in good shape going forward. We'll have to monitor it, see how it goes. RSI isn't looking too bad. The question here is on the chart on the dailies, and that is the 50-day and the 20-day moving averages. Look like they're going to be crossing here, possibly if Bitcoin doesn't go at least up to this range of 42,642 in the next day or so. Otherwise, those are going to flip, which could obviously signal for us to go down a little bit more towards our next resistance, which was at 37,500, if that happens. On the 1 hour chart, let's take a look, see how we're looking at it. I mean, right now we're pretty high on the 1 hour chart on the RSI. We're at 60. We were bouncing with the 70 here for a little bit. We have obviously come down a little bit, which is a good sign, and the price has stayed pretty much the same. So RSI has come down, but the price has stayed the same, even though we've been going sideways for the past, 8, 9, 10 hours or so, which is fine. But this obviously leaves us with the possibility of room to go up. So I'm okay with that. Let's take a look at Ethereum here really quick. So Ethereum is at 3,120 right now. It has obviously had a pretty good day as well. Had a nice wick here on the 1 hour chart here right around 8 o'clock this morning. And then it has obviously stayed above the 50-day moving average, which is the green line here, which is good as well. And we are looking to have possibly the 20-day moving average cross with the 200-day moving average, which is the blue line right here, which we really don't want to happen, but it might happen. That's okay. We might obviously fall down as well because of it. But we'll see how this progresses also during the week, see how tomorrow, and then obviously overnight hours trading goes. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Other news was Shiba Inu also got listed on Robinhood. So that one pumped a little bit in the last couple of days here. We could see it here when it pumped, when that report came out, and then it has been trading obviously sideways since then. All right, so let's take a look at the first story here, and then we'll take a look at some other stuff. So Brazilian Senate announces incoming approval of the Bitcoin law, which is good. So this is adoption. We want adoption to happen across the countries, across the globe. That is going to lead to price appreciation. Price is going to go up. Supply and demand economics get in play, and price goes up, right? So we want this. This is good. And the law isn't that bad either. It's not going to make it a legal tender or anything, but it is still going to be having adoption go forth, right? So the law will allow the president of Brazil to designate or create a regulatory agency to oversee the crypto market. And the legislation, which has been debated in the Chamber of Deputies since 2015, has been approved in the first round of consideration. The Senate has attached it to another crypto-focused bill, which has already been approved by the Economic Affairs Committee of the Senate, which is great. And then down here is kind of the nitty-gritty of it all. The approval of the law is plenary, will not make Bitcoin legal tender in Brazil as it does in El Salvador. The proposed law would allow the Brazilian president to determine a federal entity responsible for establishing rules for cryptocurrencies. The president would either create a new regulator or delegate this function to the Nation's Securities and Exchange Commission or the Central Bank of Brazil. The regulator will be responsible for defining market guidelines and establishing norms in line with international standards to prevent money laundering and concealment of assets, which is all fine. Regulatory framework is fine as long as it's not overburdensome, I think, on the players involved. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But the bill also proposes a penalty of 4 to 8 years in prison, in addition to a fine for those who commit fraud in the provision of virtual asset services. Another point here highlighted in the bill is a set of incentives for crypto miners to set up shop in Brazil. It proposes to exempt the import of ASICs to the country from taxes. So I believe the U.S. is like 20-25% if you import miners. So basically you're paying a duty on those. That would be kind of nice to see, but here's a caveat to that. So however, this could not be enough to lure Bitcoin miners into the country, provided that energy rates in Brazil are among the highest in South America and about 5 times higher than in nations like Paraguay and Venezuela. So I don't foresee any of the miners that I cover, getting involved in Brazil anytime soon, unless obviously the electrical rates come way down. Next is Ethereum. So Ethereum, or at least I covered it, I think it was a week ago or so, that they are moving closer to proof of stake, and that we could see it within obviously Q2 or into Q3 now. So here's a little update on that. So Ethereum merge no longer expected in June. We're looking more likely it's going to be fall. So according to Ethereum core developer Tim Bako, the network's much anticipated shift to proof of stake might not come until the fall. And Bako said that the network's transition to proof of stake is more likely to come in the few months afterwards, which is fine, as long as it's going to happen, right? And the update comes after Ethereum passed a major milestone on Monday. We talked about this with the first shadow fork of the Ethereum mainnet, amounting to a dry run of the network's upcoming shift in consensus mechanism, which is good. And then here's the other part of it. So the merge has supplanted Ethereum's original plans for Ethereum 2.0, which included the addition of sharding to improve network throughput by chopping up activity into pieces that can be processed simultaneously. Sharding is still on the Ethereum roadmap, but it was pushed back to 2023 in order to expedite the shift to proof of stake. So this is obviously, it's not a good, well, I wouldn't categorize it as a bad thing. We're kicking the can down the road another year possibly to get sharding in place. Sharding is obviously what could help make Ethereum faster in the long run, right? So this is coming, but it's going to take a little while. With this in mind, much attention within the Ethereum developer community has shifted to layer 2 rollups like Arbitrum, Optimism, and Loopring, which have amassed billions of dollars in total value locked onto their third-party solutions for scaling the Ethereum network. So that's kind of like the Bitcoin Lightning Network, but we got a couple options here with Ethereum. Even after the merge, a growing portion of network's activity is expected to move over to these layer 2 solutions, or to layer 2 networks, which process transactions on a separate blockchain before bundling them up and passing them back down to the Ethereum base layer, kind of like Bitcoin's Lightning Network that we're seeing evolve as well. So this is fine. This is just an update on it, but obviously we'll have to see if this happens, right? Because this proof of stake has been kicked down the road for so many years now that some people are thinking it's going to be another couple of years before it happens. Obviously, one of them is the CEO of Hive. Obviously, Hive has a lot of Ethereum miners that they're mining Ethereum with, so they obviously want to see it be kicked down the road as long as possible, but it looks like it's going to happen eventually. Will it happen this year? Fingers crossed. Okay, so we'll see if that happens. And then finally, Iris Energy announces commissioning of the first 0.3 exahash or 9 megawatts at Mackenzie, British Columbia, increasing installed capacity above 1.1 exahash. So announced today, it has increased its operating hash rate by 33%, which is huge, to exceed 1.1 exahash of total installed capacity with the commissioning of the first 0.3 exahash or 9 megawatts at its second site in Mackenzie, British Canada. The commencement of operations at Mackenzie marks the delivery of the company's second operating site in British Columbia, Canada, ahead of schedule as Iris Energy continues its expansion toward 15 exahash. So obviously still a long ways to go, but they're getting there, and it's good to see that they got a 33% increase from it already. Of total installed capacity across multiple sites, construction activities in Mackenzie continue to progress to schedule with 2 phases. The balance of initial 1.5 exahash, 50 megawatts, is expected to come online in Q3. And phase 3 of the additional 0.9 exahash, 30 megawatts for installed capacity of 2.4 exahash, 80 megawatts expected in 2023. So obviously they still have a long ways to go, but it's good to see that they are making pretty good strides in getting us there. All right. And let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them now. So obviously they said that in April they got those installed. So that would represent possibly, if we're looking at the numbers here, I'll bring this over closer. So we are in April right now. And basically, in order to get them to the 1.1 exahash, I had to add about 2,555 miners, which are these miners here. And that gets them to the 1.1 exahash down here, which obviously helps increase their bottom line going forward. So for this month, we're looking at currently possibly about 5.6 million in revenue. And going forward, it'll be about 6.3 once they are fully operational for a full month, which is good. And looking at the numbers here, we'll make it just relatively quick here because we don't want to go over everything. But looking at the numbers, they are at 13.15 right now. Looking at the numbers for the last 3 quarters plus January, February, March of this year, which doesn't account obviously for the increase in April and then the increase we're going to see in May. But we're looking at basically at 13.53 at 20 price to earnings multiple with 75% net income from gross revenue, which is pretty in line with where they are right now at a 20 multiple. And I think they're going to stay at this probably multiple because of the growth that they are having. So right now they are a little bit undervalued from where I have them, but not bad. Sometimes they go a little bit over that, but we're good. I think they're doing great things here. So I just wanted to point that out. And I think we're going to call it a day. Not much else is going on. If there's anything else that comes up, we'll obviously cover it. But as always, the spreadsheet is available to Patreon members. You guys can get it there. I appreciate you guys watching so much. So I would just ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a great night.